Hey guys, how are we doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another video. So just before I start, I'm going to get super bullish in this video, so I hope you're ready for that. But as I said, just before I start, Brad Garlinghouse is going to be talking today in front of Congress, essentially just giving like a speech and testifying to the GOP, Senator Loomis and other people about cryptocurrency. And he said, I'm honoured to be invited to testify in front of the Senate Banking Committee this Wednesday on the need for passing crypto market structure legislation. So I'm going to leave it there. And the reason I just wanted to introduce that to the start of this video is because the rest of this video is going to be me getting pretty hyped and bullish. But that's today, and that can always come with significant volatility, both to the up or the downside. It could be a catalyst for increased price action, but we could also see some trickery around whenever there's an event, people sell into an event. But it's normally a catalyst, and it definitely will induce volatility, and we're already seeing that this morning. So now I'm going to get into it, and we're going to get excited. So that's just a word of caution out of the way first, because nothing's ever plain sailing in crypto, you know that. So let's start with just XRP price action. Awesome. Last 4 hours have closed. The highest 4 hour close literally just closed, and I was waiting to make this video. The highest close since the 23rd of May. Excuse me, we're talking about this range, a breakout of the range and the breakout target. Now, also, if we look at liquidity, XRP has moved into this dense area of liquidity here above us that we've been discussing for a long time. And realistically, this is going to set us up for our move towards higher prices. Let's just take us to the 4 hourly and liquidity. I've got literally so much to talk about, guys, honestly. We're in this dense area of liquidity, but we're setting up for the move towards 273 to 260, 270. Now, what's interesting to me here is, I'm going to try and take us back to the hourly before, hopefully it doesn't load in time. Yeah, hopefully it takes us to the hourly. Is XRP is currently leading Bitcoin on this move. Now, why is that interesting? Something that I've been calling for a while is for XRP to lead alts and lead a potential alt season. Bitcoin has got this dense liquidity above us, both on the hourly and the daily that we also discussed. But as we can see, like XRP is already in this area, and Bitcoin's just looking to break out of this potential consolidation. I would like to see Bitcoin follow and also start to break out today. That would give us confidence that the price action that XRP's displaying right now is not a fake out. It would probably give us more of an indication that it's time to get the ball rolling. And I do think we're at that point. But there's a difference between thinking and fact, and the fact would be is if Bitcoin starts to push up into this 111k, starts to take this liquidity, you can pretty much confirm that this move here isn't a fake out. As I said, I don't think it is, but you don't make any money from thinking, you make money from fact. So let's see. We didn't violate the higher low structure, even though we did have a pullback yesterday. We actually still held the lows, and they've continued higher so far for XRP. So that structurally is looking pretty good as well. So watching for Bitcoin to push into this liquidity area to give us confluence on this breakout for XRP. And on the daily, looking at Bitcoin, let's just take these drawings off. If we get to that 111k look, we start to enter the deep liquidity on the daily time frame. So as I've been saying, and I've referenced millions of times in the newsletter and other places, this is where I think we are. So we push into this area of liquidity here. Maybe consolidate in there, and then it really acts as that fuel for the next leg up. So as I see a big candle coming in soon, could take it all the way to like 140. Realistically, I think we see at least 128, 129 when we start to break these levels before any sort of key pullback. And in this area here, this was when XRP took its big move from 55 cents to 270 and then eventually to 330. And I'll show you it on the Bitcoin chart here. We'll just get the daily Bitcoin chart open. So the time frame we were just looking at there was this area here, and if we overlay our XRP, what you can see is as Bitcoin broke the range, Bitcoin actually led here, and then XRP followed. But right now it looks like XRP could be leading for Bitcoin to follow. But when Bitcoin broke that range, it started to push up. Literally a few days, it started to push into this price area here. Bitcoin had really started to pop off, went from 70k to 85k. Then XRP started ripping from what 52 cents up to $2.70 in a very short space of time. By the way, my laptop's just started absolutely booting up. I don't know why it's doing that. So I'm sorry if you can hear that, guys. Maybe I'll just close my trading different. It could be putting a bit of stress on it. So that's what we're looking at here, potentially with XRP. Exciting times for sure. So we'll look at now XRP. So Bitcoin looks like this. We've broken above that descending trend line that I've been talking about for a while. We've kind of held above that, daily close above that, consolidation. This looks like consolidation before another leg higher, and I hope that's what it is. Bitcoin dominance, something that we've been discussing, potentially breaking down here after seeing a breakdown from its daily closes. The wicks below it had a lowest daily close since June the 24th, potentially signaling the start of a downtrend. I was showing on the 4 hourly this morning, that's why that line was where it was right here, that we actually started to break down from this area here for Bitcoin dominance. Now we are in the oversold area, so it could bounce, test the bottom of the range and then continue downwards, so don't be, that could be where some volatility comes in. For example, with XRP, Brad starts talking, maybe the price pulls back, Bitcoin dominance pulls back up, and then continues back that way again. That's one potential scenario. Now, this is where we're going to get excited here. XRP Bitcoin. This is the line, if you follow Credible Crypto's work, this is the line that he's been saying Gandalf's been protecting. And we've just had that 4 hour close for the first time above this line since, well, the highest 4 hourly close for the first time since the 24th of May 25. And essentially, this is showing that the momentum to the downside is waning, and we are starting to see maybe a reversal here. And the daily is starting to look pretty exciting. Look, we put this bottoming pattern in, we're working out, we're consolidating again at the bottom, we're accumulating, and now potentially pushing back to the upside. When I start to get excited is the 3 day and the weekly. The 3 day still got 2 days and 12 hours to complete, and the weekly still got 4 days and 12. But if we look on the weekly time frame, this is the first time we're starting to see a bullish cross on the RSI since our major breakout back in November. And at that time, XRP versus Bitcoin gained so we crossed literally here, and XRP versus Bitcoin gained to the top 325%. If we did a move like that against Bitcoin now, where would that take us? Ish, I'll try and just show you ish where 325% would take us. Up to this key resistance level here, which I'm going to take us to dominance in a second and show you that as well. But that's super exciting, especially if Bitcoin starts to break out here. And this is the line, the circles I've got on the line. This Gandalf line that Cred calls it has been a reactionary level tons of times. Like we can see, we wicked into it, and when we bounce off it, we do normally come down, or we lose it, we have a significant push down. And when we break through, we try to really go for it, and we're waiting to see if we can hold just below and then get a significant push to the upside. That's what we're looking for here. Now, XRP dominance, I've been talking about this for a while. I think we've completed a Wyckoff accumulation. We're in the sign of strength phase, last point of support, back testing the top of the range, going into phase E here. Hopefully the picture still here. It is going into phase E, and a lot of people have been calling for that 14% dominance, which is what would be in line with a 325% move from here. If we had a measured move on XRP Bitcoin, it would bring us out to this level here, if you remember that chart. However, if we use an Elliott wave theory, I think this is wave 1. I think this is the wave 1's complete, and I think this is going to be wave 3 essentially. And I think that it takes us further out than people think, maybe towards that 20% mark there for XRP dominance. Now, people can say this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is the 5th wave. I don't know. I'd argue that it's not. I'd argue that this is the first move because it's impulsive. So that's 1, 2, 3 should be higher than, well, not that 3 can't technically be the shortest wave. So anyway, I think we go out probably to 20-ish% this cycle is my thought process. But I'll be honest, and I'll be deleveraging between like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, $13 XRP. Anyway, we get out to like 20% of market cap, 14 to 20% of market cap. We're in happy clappy land, and everyone should be taking something off the table because the risk to reward to the downside is just too large at that point. But that's what I think is imminent. That is genuinely what I think is about to happen, and this could be the start of it right now, to be absolutely honest with you. We've been discussing this for a long time. I've been a bit early a few times, but most recently we've pretty much nailed it bang on. If we look at this chart here, I'm going to get rid of this inverse head and shoulders, but the breakout target for that would be to 410. Guys, I think we go significantly higher than that on this next move, to be absolutely frank with you. And I think we're there. That's basically what I think. Looking at the weekly RSI on price, this is the first time we've had, if we get the close, so we've still got 4 hours 12, if we get the bullish cross close, it's the first time we've had a close above, a bullish close above the SMA on the RSI since the breakout of the lows. And again, how much did we do percentage wise when we had that breakout? We did 464% to the first high of 270, or 556%. So 464% from this where we've got the cross, which is literally today. When I say 464, which would take us to $13, and 500 and around 550, wasn't it? Would take us to 15. I think we're going to about $12 on this push. I think people are going to underestimate it with 8. Let's see if I'm right or not. But again, I will be deleveraging at 8ish anyway, because, well, not completely, but I'll be honestly about 80% out by like $12 or $13, just because the money's worth a lot to me in terms of like life-changing amounts of capital. So up to you what you do with your capital. But anyone who's done, like, I was speaking to a good friend yesterday, if you're buying it even 50 cent, $10 is a 20x. Anyone who's done a 20x on something should be taking some money off the table, no matter what you've put in, because the risk to reward and the downside is too large. You don't want to be giving those gains back. You make those gains, secure some, then no one can take that away from you, and whatever you've done really well. Even if it goes significantly higher to 100x, 20x, you should never, ever, ever snub. You know that. So that's just my thought process on it. They're all my thoughts on XRP essentially right now. And just to finish, I'll just touch on ENA, because obviously we've been accumulating ENA as well. It's not everyone's cup of tea here, but it's just being transparent with what we've been doing. ENA is at this resistance level here, literally touching into it now on the daily, and on the 4 hour we're literally banging our head right on it. I don't think we got the close of it, but we didn't quite. So watching what happens here, but this could be the start of an explosive move for ENA as well, which will coincide hopefully with this depreciation in Bitcoin dominance. The absolute most magical scenario will be Bitcoin continues to push up and dominance falls. Bitcoin goes up to like 130, pulls back. We continue to see dominance fall, and Bitcoin extends out to 180 to 220, and altcoins keep ripping that whole time, and dominance keeps falling. That's when you're going to see the most explosive alt season probably in history, and would probably and hopefully all make a lot of money and be very happy, as long as we follow along together. XLM's doing extremely well this morning. I saw Waters Above Crypto and Bearable Bull talking about XLM specifically. It's a good call. It's a higher risk token because the market cap's smaller, doesn't have the same distribution in my opinion as XRP, and the liquidity is less in terms of the amount of people trading it. But there's higher potential to the upside because the market cap's smaller, but there's also more risk. It's not a bad play at all. They normally move in tandem, XLM and XRP, and XLM looks good technically. But my bags are in XRP, my main bags, and we've been buying ENA for our ETH exposure as well to give us that alternative just in case, not that we're wrong, but just in case the ETH moves first. But it doesn't look like that right now. Obviously it's early doors, we've not got anything confirmed yet, but we have started to see this first little inkling that now might be the time with the 4 hour breakout and candle close above this recent range high. So fingers crossed, eyes on. I'm definitely excited to see what happens when Brad comes to talk today. Watch Bitcoin, see if Bitcoin can push into that 111k. And if Bitcoin starts to push and close into 111k today, it's game on, in my opinion. It's game on. So fingers crossed. Don't start counting your Lambos yet, but also probably start scrolling the magazine. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let me know in the comment section if you've got any questions. And do share it with a friend, please. It's free to do, and it helps me out a lot. If you want to trade in any leverage, I have a link to MEXC and WEX in the description below. Always be careful when trading on leverage, but both of those sites are non-KYC, and I do use them both. Peace up, A-Town down, as Crypto Insight UK would say.